Hi guys, welcome back to 17th video tutorial of J2EE. So the previous discussion we had like the transaction management, like how to maintain a transaction and how to make the transaction complete even after executing multiple insert queries. If something got failed, then we are actually rollbacking those all the insert queries whatever we performed before. So these about the transaction management, and now we are going to discuss about the batch processing. What is batch processing? Suppose these also comes to the code and all. It's almost similar to the transaction management, but it actually avoids executing multiple update statements. Let's see how it is. Let's take this your Java application, and this is your database. And again, you need to perform set of operations. Not only the inserts, you can perform any type of operation. Suppose if you want to perform one, let me name these with right variables. This Java app with JDBC API, and this is your database. Suppose if you want to perform any set of operations, insert query 1, query 2, insert query 3, and some update operations also. Update query 1 and delete query 1, delete query 2. So you have said different operations are available. You want to perform all these operations at the same time, and you don't want to use this execute update every time. You just want to have one set of group operation that is called as batch processing. So let's go to the example and we can see how we can able to avoid these many execute updates, and we can have only one group transaction, and not a group transaction, it's a group action. So what's a group action we can able to perform for performing set of operations. Let's go to our code and we'll create a new class which is batch processing example. So let me have a main method and try catch block, handle the exception, and copy this code. What are the common code we have? Just copy it, and in our case it's a little bit different, so let me code it here. First one is load driver class. Second one is comments are very much important to make sure, guys. Why I'm writing comments means in real time you should write comments for what are the block of code you're writing. That makes the other developers will understand. Even for this, comments are actually used for future reference. These topics I covered in my core Java tutorial. Make sure to write habit of comments in each and every block of code when you're writing any Java application in your project, or in your, if you got a job, then in your project also it's good to have comments in your code. Create connection object and create statement object. Last, you need to close the connection. That's it. Let me copy the load driver class from here and the connection and the statement. There's no difference. You can use prepared statement also, but for now I will be using statement. You can use a prepared statement that's recommended in your real time, but for time being I'm just having a statement object. So now our DB steps are ready, JDBC steps are ready. Now what we have to perform, we need to perform set of insert queries or update queries or delete queries in one group action, not like executing multiple execute queries. So earlier what we are doing, suppose if you want to insert records, what we are doing, suppose if you want to perform 3 insert queries, then you have to perform 3 execute updates. So before doing this, let me clear the data in database so that we can have empty database so that I will be inserting records. So let me see the records. Let me delete one by one. 1 is deleted, 2 is deleted. Let me see the records. See, there's no records available for now in our database. I just deleted all the records because I'm performing bulk insert here. So how we are doing? We're actually inserting records like using execute update. What I'm trying to avoid is trying to avoid execute update for multiple times. Let me have pen here. Let the price as it is. Let me, I don't want to change it. And so what we are trying to do is we are trying to insert 3 records with using execute update. Now what I'm trying to do is I just want to avoid this execute update multiple times. For that, what I'm doing is I'm just creating a batch which is actually I'm just adding a batch for out of it. Each and every query I'm just adding into a batch. Add to batch, add to batch, so and so, and finally once batch is ready, then we just execute batch. So these are we'll be doing. We'll be adding to batch, and at the end we'll be performing a batch operation saying execute batch. So for 3 queries I wrote, and likewise we can have, let me complete for all this also. So how many number of queries you have, those many queries you just need to add to batch. And finally at the batch, once batch is prepared, you just need to create, you need to execute the batch. So where this batch is actually coming from, this add batch and create batch, these are actually methods of statement interface. You can have the same methods for prepare statement as well, and for now I'm just implementing for statement interface. So for statement object, you just need to add the batches, and finally you just need to execute the batch. Let's see how simple it is. The first one will be add batch of a SQL query. Just need to replace whatever the SQL execute update you have. You just need to replace with add batch instead of putting execute update for every time. At the end, once your batch is ready, you just need to execute the batch. See, you have a method called execute batch, which is returning in integer type of array. Integer type of array means for each batch within the each query within the batch, it is actually returned particular integer. For each integer, it is stored in integer type of array. You can have return as integer type of results. You can print these results by looping it. You will be getting a list of array of results, which is suppose a number of rows got affected. Suppose if you are executing one insert query, then you will be getting one, right? So for 3 insert queries, you will be getting 3 ones. We'll see that now. So the result values we are just printing here once the insertion operation is done. If you want to perform the transaction management also, you can able to do it here also. Like how? If you want to perform transaction management also, let's suppose if you want to make this whole batch to be for transaction control, then you can put connection dot set auto commit to false, and at the end, when you before closing the connection, you just need to put connection dot commit. So if you want to make rollback, you just need to declare this connection interface reference variable outside the try catch, and next catch block you just need to handle it. So we did this on a previous tutorial. For now, I'm just handling within the transaction itself, and I'm not doing any rollback and all. So if you want to perform transaction for a batch operation also, you can do this way, or you can ignore this. There's no problem at all. And so if you ignore this, what will happen inside the batch? So how many actions are performing? If something got failed, those many records will be available in DB. If you perform transaction, then all the records will be inserted, or all the records will not be inserted. So that's the difference between a transaction-based batch processing or without transaction-based batch processing. So these about adding a batch. Now we have to perform the execute batch. Once these kind of a group action, I can say whatever we mentioned here, right? Execute a batch, which is kind of a group action. What we're doing first, we are actually preparing a set of queries, and we're actually adding to a batch and preparing a batch and executing a batch finally. Then we're storing the results in results array and printing them. And even not only the insert queries, you can have, as I mentioned here, you can have update queries and delete queries. You can add it here. There's no problem at all. Each batch actually takes any type of data manipulation operation, like insert, delete, or update, anything, it will take it. There's no difference at all. So let me run this program and we can see the results in database. For now, we don't have any records in database. Let me run this code. See, the results got 1, 1, 1, means 3 got succeed, and each is returning 1 as a input, means the number of rows got affected 1. So let's see in our products table. Now we got 3 records got inserted: pen, pencil, and laptop. 3 got inserted. So these are we can able to perform batch operations in a database. So make sure, guys, you can have any type of SQL data manipulation query, insert, delete, or update. For demonstration, I just gave insert queries here. So for recap, so for batch processing, we just need to have any type of query, and we just need to add to the batch, and we need to execute the batch, and these adding a batch and execute batch from statement interface. So that's about the batch processing. The next tutorial we are going to discuss about a new class, which is Java row set. Let's meet in next tutorial. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.